Hey guys, it's Mizzy, and I'm a mixed girl in a mixed up world. Welcome to Every Victim Deserves Justice. I'm doing a 3-part series on Jermaine Fleming. Jermaine had a smile that could light up the world. Everybody called him Maine, but as a child, he had the nickname of Dr. Dolittle because he could communicate with animals and they loved him. He wasn't just loved by his animals, he was loved by his community. Not just his family and friends, but the people who lived in the complex where he worked and lived. On December 29th, 2021, Jermaine broke up with his ex-girlfriend. He gave her $1,500 to move out. Then he left the apartment and drove around for a little while. At some point, he met up with her behind a Kroger. She claims that he shot himself with her gun. But the evidence just doesn't seem to fit that description. The only blood that was in his truck that she claimed he shot himself was the blood that would have been on the seat that he was sitting on. There was no blood anywhere else in his truck. When you shoot yourself, there's splatter. There is no bullet recovered, and there are a lot of inconsistencies with her story. Now, Jermaine was having a baby with another woman, and I suspect this is why they met behind the Kroger and he was shot. So let's talk to his mother so we can get his story out there, because Jermaine deserves justice. Every victim deserves justice. Hey guys, today I have the pleasure of interviewing Armani. She's the mother of Jermaine Fleming. I'm going to let her tell you about her son, and then we're going to go into his case so we can get his case out there, because it needs to be investigated because it was never investigated. So welcome to A Mixed Girl in a Mixed Up World, Armani.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So why don't you tell us about Jermaine?
Oh, my son Jermaine was a naturalist. He loves the outdoors, loves to camp. He loves parks, recreation centers, lakes, oceans, beaches, animals, all animals, especially dogs. He's a fix-it guy. You know, he loves hands-on. Anything that needs to be repaired, he's your guy. If you can't do it, he'll study on YouTube and get 50,000 different manuals until he can get it. He hates when he have to relent and go to a professional because it makes him feel like he didn't do it. So he likes to fix everything, fix people, very charitable. He volunteered at shelters and
that's lovely.
You know, providing them clothes, food, whatever. And he's that guy.
I met you through TikTok, and I had a few people comment on the video that I did about him and say, oh, I lived where he worked, and they were like, he was amazing. There was a few comments. So it wasn't even just friends and family who are saying that. That's people where he worked. And yeah, that's awesome. And
he's the maintenance tech there, and people just loved him. I mean, even at his memorial, it was standing room only. You know, and many people walking up to me and hugging me and kissing me. Your son saved my life. Your son got me a job. Your son did this. And, you know, Jermaine is notorious for being late. And so being his brother and sisters just standing there just going, all those times he was late, who knew he was out saving the world? He never told us, you know.
Yeah.
He never told me, oh, Mom, I got this person a job, or Mom, I did this. He never, ever spoke of it.
So he was humble.
Very. He never did anything for recognition.
Yeah.
He never did anything to get paid back. He did things because it needed to be done.
Yeah. And there was even somebody who duetted my TikTok, and they shared pictures of him, and they were from where he worked.
Yeah.
So, like I said, he was beloved, especially there. I know that. And
Every job he ever had, you know,
yeah,
that's what I get. Oh my God, you're his mom. I can't, this guy right here. Oh my goodness. And
oh, that means he was a gift, and it's sad that he was taken away from you and everybody who loved him. And
yes,
I'm so
yes.
sorry this is how we're meeting.
Thank you. He has 3 children, 2 daughters and 1 son, and they're going through it. That's why I got to make sure I get justice, because I can't have my grandchildren, even 5, 10, 15 years from now, to believe that their father intentionally left them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say, I'm so sorry this is how we're meeting. And I just want to help you get Jermaine's story out there for all his loved ones so you can get his case solved. We're going to get into the particulars of the case, but the police didn't even investigate this. So we just want to make sure his case gets out there so the world's eyes can be on this and put pressure on the law enforcement to open his case.
Yes, and I really thank you for taking out the time to do this and being interested
You're
in
welcome.
Jermaine's case. I really appreciate that. It's deeply needed and it's deeply appreciated.
And I'm so glad I saw his case on TikTok so we can sit down and talk about him, and so people can see his story. So let's start from the beginning of that day. Jermaine went to work that day, right?
Yes.
And he came home from work to his apartment. And what happened when he got there?
Okay, so he comes home around 11:24 a.m., December 29th. On the video, you see him dropping his trailer, his work trailer. He uses that trailer to collect, various junk and leftover furniture from different apartments.
Mm-hmm.
And he parks it and he goes in. And you can see him counting money as he's walking up the walkway.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes inside. He goes to the kitchen and he gets more money from a drawer that he has in there. And as you see my granddaughter laying on the sofa, when Jermaine goes towards the bedroom, he yells, "You can leave, you can get out." That's why my granddaughter jumped from the sofa, because her dad yelled.
And who was he yelling at?
Desiree Davis, his girlfriend of 10 years, live-in. And
was this apartment his or theirs?
His.
Okay.
Is part of his job. He has an apartment through his job.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you get a percentage off from living there.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. And so he goes in, he breaks up with her because his daughter was there. And as my granddaughter says, Dad won't yell and argue if she's around. That's why she followed him into the bedroom.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything else. He just left. And
how long were they having problems? Was this something you saw coming, that they were going to break up?
Well, I saw it coming 10 years ago. She's definitely was not the one for Jermaine. Jermaine is a soft-hearted person who likes to, look out for other people.
Yeah.
And, Desiree Davis is a strife-filled person. Everything has an agenda. Jermaine likes to work hard. She hates to work. Jermaine has no problem working and he loves to work. And she doesn't. Jermaine's a truthful person. She's a compulsive liar. That's why I've never gotten close to her, because this girl will literally lie to you about the weather. You really have to go outside to check the weather if she told you what it is.
Wow. So there was no love lost when he was breaking up with her. You were like, yes, about time.
Well, he had told me a few weeks before it happened, about a new woman he had started seeing a year ago. And
okay.
He had told me that, Mom, you're just hard and cold. I just can't put her out. We'll just put you out. So I told him, well, if you want to take the gentleman approach, give her the money to leave and be firm. You have a problem with being the bad guy.
Yeah.
And that's why people take advantage of you, because you have such a problem being a bad guy. And it's just a necessity of life that you have to be the bad guy every now and then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's no one enjoys it. If you enjoy it, you're a monster. But
did she know about the other woman?
yes, she'd been knowing about it for a whole year.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't something new that came up.
No.
How much money did he give her?
He gave her $1,500.
So that should have been enough to find another place to live.
Go, leave, do what you have to do. She wasn't working. So,
Yeah.
Whatever you need to do, $1,500 is enough for you to leave and, go stay with a friend for a month and save up your money and get your own place, or however you want to do it. It's enough.
Yeah. So he ends up leaving, and do you know, she says he went to the liquor store. Do you know if he actually went to the liquor store?
Well, Jermaine didn't go to any liquor stores.
Okay.
What she's trying to portray is that scene happened around 12:50. And that scene, as you can see on the cameras through his home security cameras, that scene of him leaving, that's at 11:24.
Yeah. Okay. So she
wasn't his lunch break. His lunch break is at 1 p.m.
Okay. So he leaves. She says he starts texting her all this crazy stuff. Kind of alluding to that he's suicidal.
Right. She really tried that, and she got the right detective to help her with that. Being that the detective decided to accept blank messages. Jermaine had two phones, his Android and his iPhone. Jermaine didn't use his iPhone. He's not an iPhone user because he's just not a tech guy. And he didn't like the way the iPhone would lock up.
Okay.
Because he's a maintenance guy. Phone is in his pocket. He's moving things, bending over, drilling things. And if you hit the iPhone too many times, it locks up and you got to reset it and all this. And he didn't like that. So he never used the iPhone.
Okay. That makes sense.
Her day started off at the first time that they ever talked, because if you go all the way to the morning time, Jermaine never said a word to her.
Okay.
From the time he woke up. And so you follow the camera with him, and you follow the actual AT&T phone records.
Mm-hmm.
On the AT&T phone records, being that her phone is on Jermaine's account and the phone is in his name, also have her phone records.
Okay.
iPhone.
That's good.
Right. So you can see her day as well as his day. She woke up that day and went to the grocery store. She was upset. You could tell she's upset. She sat in the car for 45 minutes. And she went and got Jermaine, and you could see Jermaine coming back to help her with the groceries, but he wouldn't help her while she was outside the car. He waited till she went in the house, and then he went and got the rest of the groceries. Okay. He walked his dogs. He has 3 of them. And then he went on about his business, and she left again. She comes back. Jermaine's still not talking to her. He hasn't. You can look on the AT&T every time she calls him, it's a decline call. He never answers.
Yeah.
So I guess he was just getting himself up and ready to break up with her.
Yeah.
And he has his girlfriend, Nia. She calls him and tells him about the pregnancy and that she has an appointment.
Did she know that the other girl was pregnant?
Yes.
Okay. That's a lot of motive there to, he's right. Breaking up with her. He's got another girlfriend, and now there's a baby involved.
Right. That was her only motive, because that day at 11:07, you look at AT&T record, she called a Michigan State wedding planner. She texted her, and that's what she talked to us about Christmas, how they're going to get married. And when, me and my daughter sort of just rolled our eyes, and here she comes with more lies, and she's going to do the wedding free. And I said, how many people are supposed to be at the wedding? She says 150. I said, so you have a out-of-state wedding planner that's going to feed 150 people for free?
Yeah.
I mean,
who's paying for the wedding?
Why would she do that?
Yeah.
This is just Christmas, and I just spent $450 for food. So I can imagine how much it costs to feed 150 people. Got to be in the tens of thousands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I never allow Desiree to lie to me, and it's just okay.
Yeah.
I always press her, because that's a problem with compulsive liars. They don't do details.
Yep. And
You know what I mean?
that's the way you catch them, because they forget, unless they're really good at it. No.
Right. They don't do details. They just say something, expect for you to accept it.
Yes.
Which is very narcissistic,
And a lot of compulsive liars are narcissists.
Right. And so I said, so they're just going to feed you for free out of the kindness and goodness of their heart. Why? Because she knows my mom. And I said, and you've been living here in Georgia for 10 years, and I've never met your mom.
Yeah.
Does she really exist?
Yeah,
And she just walked out in the kitchen. So that's the start of this we're getting married type thing. And she told me about how the girl is stalking her and coming to her job, and she's crazy. She's this, she's that. And so my son comes to me in my bedroom and he goes, Mom, we're not getting married. I said, I know that. And he's like, so are you going to go ahead and do what's right, son, and just end it? He said, I'm trying, but she never keeps a job. She's not working right now.
And unfortunately, because your son was kind-hearted, he was like, I
don't want to put you just out on the street. But, there's that accountability that I've raised three of my children with. It's not your problem that a grown adult decides not to work.
Yeah.
That's her problem. She's not one of your children. She's not a dependent. She's grown.
Yeah.
That's her decision. And basically, this is what this woman just did all day, every day, is just stay home, play on her phone, and stalk my son. And he's at work, and she calls him 50 times while he's at work, 100 times, texting him all day. Not just like a clear narcissist, do not care one bit that this man is at work.
Yeah.
And pop up at any apartment that he's repairing. She has to pop up in. And it's like, if you had your own life and your own self-respect, then you'll just leave.
So, do you know how he ended up behind the Kroger?
Well, I have his GPS on his Android. So it looks like after he left the apartment complex, he just drove around.
In this photo I'm about to show you, shows Jermaine's GPS as he was driving around.
Okay. So you have to look, like I said, you have to look at the records and his Android call log. Mm-hmm. The AT&T phone records are both of the iPhones, his iPhone, and her iPhone. So the only way you can track his Android on the AT&T phone records is when they're calling and texting each other.
Okay.
On the iPhone, when he's calling her iPhone and texting her iPhone.
Okay.
And then her phone bill, like I said, her day started off with her calling the wedding planner at 11:07 a.m. And then 20 minutes later, Jermaine walks to the door and wrecks everything. There is no wedding, get out, Yeah. She's furious. She's pissed off. I won't take that away from her. If you really thought in your delusional head that you guys was getting married and he came in and he broke up with you, I understand why you walked out behind him and tried to talk to him, and he drove off on you. He had nothing to say. She then consisted of calling him over and over and over repeatedly. He never answered one of her phone calls, ever. He declined them all. So you look at the call log, like I said, it's not missed calls, it's declined. So that's him interacting with his phone, touching his phone. You have to touch your phone to decline it.
Yeah.
don't, it'll just be missed, So after that, the GPS just shows him driving around down their street or whatever. And he goes and he parks behind Kroger at 12 p.m. At 12:12 p.m., she leaves the apartment. And as you see her leaving, she's texting him. I see that on the phone bill. She's texting him. At 12:13, Jermaine replies. After Jermaine replies, there's no other text from Jermaine. Okay. That's it.
In one of the videos, she walks into the living room area with her purse open. Do you think that's when she was getting the gun, possibly?
I believe so, because the purse is, for a small purse, it was very bulky.
In this clip, it shows Desiree coming in and then going out of frame and then coming back into frame with her purse. And she goes out of frame for a few seconds, and then she basically comes back and leaves.
All right. And his other friends that he has, and people have told me that she's always threatened to kill him if he left.
Really?
Yeah.
And the police never questioned any of these friends or family to?
Never was interested.
Let's go through what her version of the story is. And as we go through, maybe you can correct her lies. In this clip, Desiree is talking to one of Jermaine's family members and describing what happened that day.
Saying like he loved him and stuff like that. But before I left, I was like, Quan, hit Jermaine up and see where he at, to make sure that he's straight. Because he's texting me crazy stuff. So fresh, when I get to the Kroger, Jermaine got the gun. He had the gun already with him, my gun. He had the gun already with him. I get in the car. I get the gun from him. I drove off. I heard him yell out, Ray, where you going? I know he had been crying and stuff, so I turned back around, making sure he was straight. I'm sitting in my car. He get out of his car. He was in the back seat of his car. He get out of his car. He said he was talking to me, yelling, oh, I told you I was sorry. I'm tired of going through the bullshit. He slung my purse out. I said, Jermaine, get my purse. By this time, he got out of my car, grabbed the gun off the seat. I was open the door from the driver's side, getting out the car. By the time I got out the car to run up to him fresh to stop him from with the gun, he had to cock it back, and I heard a pow. When I heard the pow, I went up to the car. I seen that he had shot himself. I didn't know where it was at. Then I seen he had shot himself in the head. I grabbed the towel, called the police, called our money, and that was that. I stayed out there all day, waiting on the police. They, this what happened. Gave them a statement, went up there to the hospital, trying to figure out what was going on with Jermaine and what was his state. They told me they just airlifted him to Grady. That was Corey just told me they airlifted him to Grady. But then I got up to the hospital, I'm just like, I hate you, it's your fault, this and that. I left it at that. But I went down to the police station voluntarily. I don't want to think that I was the one that did it to him. So I went down there voluntarily, talked to them, gave them statements and all of that. And that's what happened. Jermaine shot himself in the head, and I tried to get out the car to stop him, and I couldn't.
Jermaine shot himself?
I swear to God, Fresh. I swear to God, on my life, Jermaine shot himself. I swear to God. And I've been on down to the police station.
If he did, once they run a little autopsy and all that, they gonna say what the court, they gonna say, because the blood, the gunpowder be all over him, the backsplash should be all over him.
Yep, that's what I said, Fresh. That's what I said. I said, I'ma let them do their job. I'm here in Georgia. I ain't going nowhere. I'd have called our money, talked to Corey, talked to our money. I'd have talked to everybody. I don't want nobody to think I am avoiding anybody. Any family members want to talk to me and get exactly what I just told you, you'll get the same. But they ain't gonna see ain't no blood. I got on the same clothes for what I had on for when it happened. Ain't no blood splattered on me. Ain't no gunpowder, no backlash. Ain't none of that on me.
So he shot himself outside?
No, he shot himself in the back of his car. He was in the back seat of his car. He shot himself in the back seat of his car.
She says she leaves because they're having an argument. They never talked that day. The only time Jermaine ever talked to her that day is when he broke up with her. He never said any type of words. Clear and obvious on the AT&T phone records and on his Android phone log. And she leaves after she sees that he has texted his son, Quan, some like a goodbye text, what she called crazy stuff. He texted his son some crazy stuff. So I jump in my car and I leave so fast and so quick. And I drove. He said he was going to all the liquor stores. So I drove to all the liquor stores to find him. And I kept calling him and kept blowing him up and calling him and blowing him up. He finally replies and tells me he's behind Kroger after asking, was he with a female? And he said, no, I'm behind Kroger's.
What did he actually text his son?
Nothing.
So he never texted his son.
Yep, I have his son's, my grandson's phone records from T-Mobile. Absolutely nothing, never texted him that day. You can see on my son's Android, the last text that he sent his son was December 28th, telling him to clean up his room.
And that's the thing with technology, it's all there.
Right, nothing.
So she ends up going to meet him and they're behind the Kroger. What does she say happens?
She says she gets the gun away from him and then she drives off. And then she says he yells at her to come back because she know he's been crying and stuff. She comes back and he says how much he loves her and he's so sorry for hurting her. And he wants this to work and he's so sorry. He sits in her car and he slings her purse and gets out the car. And when he gets out the car, he takes the gun off the seat and then goes to the back seat of his truck and shoots himself.
There are a few things that make no sense to me. Like, okay, this is her gun. I mean, there's a lot that make no sense, but this is her gun, right?
Right.
So supposedly he takes her gun to where they are and to where he is with him when he leaves. And why would he sit in the back seat?
Right. That's the number one thing that doesn't make sense because my son is 6'1". And to sit in the back seat of his truck, he will have to push the front seat all the way up.
Yeah.
You know, for his knees to be able to fit. That's the number one thing that doesn't make sense why he was in the back seat. Number two thing that doesn't make sense that he's in the back seat is because he used that truck for his maintenance. And the back of his truck is always junky with all kinds of parts and this and different things in there. So he will have to clean all of that up to sit in the back seat of his truck. Number three, that doesn't make sense. I've never seen him back there. Just like ever.
Well, that was like when I look at a case, I look at like the parts of the stories that just make absolutely no sense. And why would somebody get in the back seat? You would sit in your front seat where you normally sit.
Right.
He wouldn't, and I wouldn't even like if they said he was in the passenger seat, I would have been like, that's weird. You know,
right. And,
so
everyone that knows him and to everyone that has common sense, it makes no sense. And these are the questions I'm asking the detectives. Like, you know, my son was 6'1". He wasn't no 5'9" or 5'10".
Yeah.
It takes effort for him to sit in the back seat of a truck, back seat of anywhere.
Yeah. Because his seat would be back too. So it's like, because he's, you know, he's got long legs. So
suicidal state, that's if he's in this suicidal, unconsolable state, that takes effort and thought to get out, push your seat up, and then I'm gonna sit in the back.
Yeah.
No, you know what I mean? So that makes no sense. Then she says she heard this gunshot because she couldn't get out of her vehicle for some reason. And she heard the gunshot. She goes back there and see that he shot himself in the head, so she gets a towel. That's the second, third, fourth thing that doesn't make sense. Where would this long white, medical white bath towel come from? Just readily available. I mean, she's 5'2", maybe 5'1", pushing it to say 5'2". And my son's SUV is a Suburban, and it's a high step up.
Yeah.
So how did you step up in the vehicle, get this towel that's just clean and readily be used, and you didn't get any blood on you?
So she had no blood on her, and mind you,
She had some blood on the cuff of her sleeve. That's it, about the size of a quarter.
and she's dressed all in white.
Pink.
Oh,
Light,
pink?
light pink.
Oh, on the video it looked like it was white. Okay,
Yeah.
but it's all light. It's very light colors.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Well, you stepped up there, because when I'm 5'6", so when I get in this truck, I have to step up and grab the bar,
Yeah.
the handlebar to get in, because it's so high. And then he has the very high tires on it, the Big Bear tires that's like 3 feet tall.
Mhm.
So
Was there any blood in his actual truck?
in his actual, yes, after yeah,
In the back seat or?
back seat and back seat only,
Okay.
and only on the seat part where your bottom goes, not where the back area is, which is weird.
Yeah, that would make no sense because this should have been
So,
everywhere. You know, there should have been.
only on the seat or your bottom goes. There's none on the windows. There's none in the front of the back seat. What if, if you're sitting in the back and the seat in front of you, nothing there, nothing on the windows, nothing on the where your back goes, nothing.
This is going to be a tough question, but was it? It's hard for me to even ask. Was it a through and through shot? Did it go all the way through?
Through and through. No bullet.
So there was no bullet.
No bullet recovered. No bullet hole in the vehicle.
So was the window? Do you know if the other window was open? The back window?
That's the thing. First they said the windows was closed. I mean up, which I totally dispelled that completely. My son is claustrophobic. There's no way he's sitting in any vehicle with the windows closed.
Yeah.
He's not even sitting in any vehicle with the doors closed. He's gonna open the doors. I have every picture of him sitting in any vehicle and the doors are wide open.
And you guys live in the South, so it's warm.
Right. Mm-hmm. It was very warm that day. So the windows was open, and this is why they say they didn't recover a bullet. But it's in a parking lot in the back of the store. And so where he's parked, one side of the truck is facing a brick wall. The other side of the truck is facing a metal dumpster. So
should have been able to recover the bullet.
Easy. It's not like it happened out in the wilderness in the wood and you got to go through trees and grass. This is a concrete parking lot.
Now let's,
You know?
yeah, I mean, it makes no sense that they didn't recover the bullet, or there isn't a bullet hole in the truck. There's no bullet hole in the truck.
There's no bullet hole in the truck.
Okay, now this is her version of what happened. What do you think happened to your son? Do you think, how do you think it went down?
Well, I have two scenarios. One, you have to see all the videos. One scenario is that he was kidnapped, because it's a guy, after she leaves, you'll see a guy that comes down and basically doing surveillance on their apartment. He's walking with a dog, and he's trying to act like he's walking past, but as soon as he gets to the apartment, he turns around and walk away. He has a dog with him. So I run him down, and then I go to the next video of the next day. This same guy is with her moving out the apartment.
Really?
With the same dog.
And
before he goes into the apartment, he surveils the apartment again. He walked past like he's walking the dog, and then he goes around the building and signal for her to come. She comes and she parks. He's in the apartment with her, and she's already packed. So he's helping her, but they look upset and their hands are wailing and they look like they're involved in a very intense conversation.
In this clip, a man walks into frame walking 2 dogs. In this clip, Desiree pulls up and she's in the car with a guy. And the guy who is walking the dogs also comes into frame. They go in the house. In this clip, you see Desiree and the 2 guys go into the house. In this clip, you see Desiree and the guy with the dogs having a heated discussion as he sits on Jermaine's couch. If she's not involved, why did she move out so fast? I mean, I know he wanted her to leave, but if he in fact, quote unquote, did this to himself, you would want to stay to make sure that everything was taken care of. The family knew everything that was going on. You wouldn't just bounce.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what she did. She left 24 hours later after he passed December 29th. She left December 30th.
Wow. I mean, I get that there's no love lost from the family to her. If the guy I love unalived himself, I would make sure to stay to answer any questions, to make sure the family was taken care of. I mean, she knew his kids, to make sure everybody had answers. If you loved this person and you had nothing to be guilty of, you wouldn't have bounced.
No, there's just no way anybody that's normal would have left. That's what normal people do. And, just the fact that she left so quickly and abruptly, it's like, why would that even be on your head?
That's suspicious. That's very suspicious.
Only the guilty run.
This is a perfect place to end this episode because there's a lot more to this story. We're going to end this episode. So okay. I am Mizzy, and I'm a mixed girl in a mixed up world. Thank you guys for watching.